Welcome to Trend Reddit, where I share interesting, useful, and inspiring content. Let's explore the world together through the videos I create. Don't forget to click the follow button so you don't miss anything new. Thank you for visiting and hope we have great experiences together. Jack Mitchell, a 35-year-old man, sits in his modest apartment, reflecting on the defining moments of his life. His thoughts drift back to the bond he shared with his younger brother, Tom. Growing up, they were inseparable, navigating the challenges of life together. However, everything changed when their parents died in a tragic accident, leaving Jack to take on the responsibility of raising Tom. At just 18, he became a father figure, determined to provide a stable life for his brother while also pursuing his own dreams. Years later, Jack met Sarah during their freshman year of college. She was intelligent and kind, hailing from a wealthy family, but she never made him feel less than worthy. They quickly bonded over their shared interests in music and literature, leading to a deep and meaningful relationship. After 4 years of dating, they exchanged vows in a beautiful ceremony where Tom stood proudly beside Jack as his best man. Life took a turn when Tom, struggling to find his footing in the world, dropped out of college shortly after Jack and Sarah married. He moved in with them, promising it would only be temporary. Jack, feeling a sense of duty, welcomed him, unaware that this decision would unravel the fabric of his family. As Tom grew increasingly dependent on Jack and Sarah, their once happy home began to shift, with tension brewing beneath the surface. Jack met Sarah in college, and they bonded over shared interests. She came from a wealthy family but never made Jack feel inferior. Their relationship grew strong, and after 4 years of dating, they married. Tom played a significant role in their wedding, and Jack felt proud of him. However, as they settled into married life, the dynamic shifted. Tom's presence began to cast a shadow over their relationship. Jack wanted to support his brother but was unaware of the growing strain it was placing on his marriage. Sarah's patience waned, and Jack noticed her subtle changes in behavior. At first, he attributed it to the stress of their new life together, but as time passed, he could feel a distance forming between them. Jack struggled to maintain balance, trying to be the supportive husband and brother, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. Despite their strong bond, the pressures of life began to take a toll on their happiness, and the once idyllic picture of their relationship started to fray at the edges, foreshadowing the turmoil that was to come. After Jack and Sarah married, Tom, who had been struggling in school and life, dropped out of college and moved in with them. He promised to stay temporarily but became increasingly dependent, unable to hold down a job. Jack felt responsible for Tom and was reluctant to ask him to leave, despite Sarah's frustrations. As the months went by, Tom's presence weighed heavily on their marriage. Sarah began to act distant, her patience wearing thin. Jack noticed subtle changes in her demeanor, her laughter fading, her smiles becoming infrequent. He tried to brush it off, convincing himself that it was just the stress of their new life. Then, one fateful day, Jack came home early from work, expecting to surprise Sarah. As he entered their house, he was hit by a strange stillness. Following a faint sound, he walked toward the bedroom, only to discover the shocking scene before him, Sarah and Tom together, entwined in a moment of betrayal. The world shattered around him as he realized the depth of their infidelity. Devastated by the betrayal from both his wife and brother, Jack felt his heart sink, leaving him grappling with feelings of anger, confusion, and despair. Jack immediately filed for divorce, and Sarah did not contest it. Emotionally wrecked, Jack moved to a new city, selling his house and isolating himself from relationships. The pain of betrayal was overwhelming, and he focused solely on his career and personal growth, avoiding dating while trying to recover from the emotional fallout. In his new environment, Jack threw himself into work, using it as a distraction from the turmoil in his personal life. He kept his distance from his former life, feeling the weight of his decisions and the absence of the people he once trusted. Nights were the hardest, filled with memories of Sarah and Tom that haunted him. He struggled to shake off the feeling of betrayal that lingered in the corners of his mind. Jack knew he needed to move on, but the emotional scars from his failed marriage were deep. he started attending therapy, seeking ways to process his feelings and rebuild his sense of self. Each day was a small step toward healing, a slow journey through the remnants of a life he had once envisioned. He vowed to emerge stronger, determined not to let his past define his future. About 3 years after the divorce, Jack met Lisa at a work conference. They bonded over shared interests, including their passion for technology and innovative solutions. Jack found himself drawn to her warmth and intelligence, qualities he hadn't realized he missed until now. Lisa's laughter was infectious, and their conversations flowed effortlessly, creating a sense of ease that Jack had longed for. As the conference progressed, Jack felt a spark of connection he hadn't experienced in years. He began to open up to Lisa, sharing snippets of his past, including the heartache from his divorce. Rather than judging him, Lisa listened with empathy, offering support without pushing him to delve deeper than he was comfortable with. Their relationship developed slowly, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Jack appreciated Lisa's patient demeanor, as she never pressured him to move too quickly. Instead, she encouraged him to take his time, allowing him to heal from his past wounds at his own pace. With each passing day, Jack found himself learning to trust again, captivated by the potential of what this new connection might bring to his life. About 3 years after the divorce, Jack met Lisa at a work conference. They bonded over shared interests, including their passion for technology and innovative solutions. Jack found himself drawn to her warmth and intelligence, qualities he hadn't realized he missed until now. Lisa's laughter was infectious, and their conversations flowed effortlessly, creating a sense of ease that Jack had longed for. As the conference progressed, Jack felt a spark of connection he hadn't experienced in years. He began to open up to Lisa, sharing snippets of his past, including the heartache from his divorce. Rather than judging him, Lisa listened with empathy, offering support without pushing him to delve deeper than he was comfortable with. Their relationship developed slowly, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Jack appreciated Lisa's patient demeanor, as she never pressured him to move too quickly. Instead, she encouraged him to take his time, allowing him to heal from his past wounds at his own pace. With each passing day, Jack found himself learning to trust again, captivated by the potential of what this new connection might bring to his life. Jack received a phone call from Sarah, who was in a difficult financial situation. Her voice, once filled with warmth, now sounded strained and desperate. She explained that she and Tom had fallen on hard times, struggling to make ends meet after their separation. Sarah asked Jack for money, emphasizing how dire their situation had become. As she spoke, Jack felt a whirlwind of emotions surge within him: anger, pity, and confusion. Sarah hinted at wanting to reconcile, suggesting that perhaps they could start anew, but Jack's heart hardened at the thought. He remembered the betrayal, the hurt, and the shattered trust that had driven them apart. Jack felt conflicted between helping his family and maintaining his boundaries. After a moment of silence, he firmly told her he couldn't help. He refused to be drawn back into the chaos of their past, knowing that any attempt to reconcile would only lead to more pain. Hanging up, he felt a mix of relief and sadness. Jack knew he had made the right decision, but the weight of Sarah's call lingered in his mind, reminding him of the complex history they shared. Tom showed up at Jack's door, desperate and in a terrible state. His clothes were disheveled, and his eyes were filled with a mixture of shame and fear. Jack's heart sank at the sight of his brother, but he couldn't deny the concern that welled up within him. Tom revealed that Sarah had left him, and they had been involved in illegal activities to get by, which had ultimately led to their downfall. Jack felt a wave of disgust wash over him at Tom's actions, but part of him wanted to reach out and help. Still, the betrayal lingered in his mind like a bitter aftertaste. He hesitated but allowed Tom to stay for one night, hoping he could provide some support and guidance. The next morning, however, Jack awoke to find Tom gone, and his wallet had been rifled through. A quick check confirmed his fears: $200 was missing. Anger surged through Jack as he realized Tom had taken advantage of his kindness yet again. Betrayed once more, Jack made the difficult decision to file a police report, understanding that this was not just a theft, it was a breaking point in their fractured relationship. Sarah contacted Jack again, claiming she had important information. Her voice trembled as she revealed that years ago, she had become pregnant but gave the baby up for adoption without telling Jack. The news hit Jack like a punch to the gut. He felt his heart race as she continued, explaining that the decision to place the child for adoption weighed heavily on her conscience. Sarah disclosed that this secret, combined with overhearing Jack's conversation with Tom about denying a pregnancy, had led to her affair with Tom. Jack's mind spun with the implications of her words. The betrayal felt more profound now, as it was rooted in hidden truths and missed opportunities. He struggled to process the idea of a child he never knew about and the emotional turmoil that accompanied Sarah's revelation. Caught in a whirlwind of shock and confusion, Jack felt his world tilt once more. The possibility of having a child, along with the weight of Sarah's choices, left him grappling with feelings of anger, heartbreak, and a flicker of curiosity about the life he never knew he could have had. The revelation reopened wounds he thought had begun to heal, plunging him back into a sea of uncertainty. Jack hired a private investigator to look into the adoption, driven by a mix of anger and curiosity. He needed to know if Sarah's story held any truth and what it meant for him. The investigator began to gather information, tracing the adoption records and attempting to uncover details about the child. Days turned into weeks as Jack wrestled with the emotional weight of possibly having a child he never knew existed. Each phone call from the investigator stirred a mix of hope and dread within him. He found himself questioning everything: his past decisions, his relationship with Sarah, and the future he had envisioned for himself. Jack struggled to reconcile the man he had become with the life he had lost. When the investigator finally returned with preliminary findings, Jack felt a rush of anticipation. He learned that Sarah's account might be true, but the details were murky, lacking concrete proof. The uncertainty gnawed at him, leaving Jack feeling trapped between wanting to pursue the truth and fearing the potential repercussions of disrupting an innocent life. Each day brought new questions, and Jack found himself questioning the motives behind Sarah's actions, haunted by the possibility of a child who could forever change his life. Jack decided not to pursue disrupting the child's life. He felt a deep sense of responsibility, realizing that the child, raised away from the chaos of his past, deserved a chance at a stable and loving life. He chose to leave a letter in his medical history with the adoption agency, hoping that if the child ever sought out her birth parents, she would have the information she needed. As time passed, Tom was arrested for fraud, an event that shocked Jack but didn't surprise him. He felt a mix of disgust and pity for his brother, who had squandered every chance at redemption. Sarah, once again, reached out, asking for help with Tom's legal fees. This time, Jack refused without hesitation, realizing that enabling Sarah and Tom would only draw him back into the toxic cycle he was desperate to escape. With determination, Jack blocked Sarah's contact information, making a firm decision to fully move on with his life. He shared everything with Lisa, who had been supportive throughout his journey, and their relationship began to blossom further. Jack started therapy, reconnecting with his aunt and finding peace through mentoring at a local youth center, focusing on healing and building a brighter future. Jack reflected on his journey, acknowledging the lessons he had learned through heartbreak and betrayal. The pain from his past had shaped him, but it no longer defined his identity. He was grateful for the strength he had found in himself, recognizing that every challenge had led him to this moment of clarity and growth. With Lisa by his side, Jack felt a renewed sense of hope. She had patiently supported him, allowing him to heal at his own pace while encouraging him to embrace the possibilities of the future. Their relationship blossomed, built on a foundation of trust and understanding that he had long thought lost. Jack realized that the journey to healing was ongoing, but he was no longer afraid to confront his past. He had learned to forgive, not only Sarah and Tom but also himself. The weight of regret had lifted, replaced by a commitment to live authentically and cherish the connections he had. As he continued to mentor at the youth center, Jack found joy in helping others navigate their struggles, hoping to impart the wisdom he had gained. With a heart open to new beginnings, Jack stepped into the future, ready to embrace whatever life had in store, grateful for the love and support that surrounded him. Thank you for reading this story. See you in a new and better story.